team's good with.
Yeah, what you usually do in tournaments when you bring in stand-ins is that you play to your stand-in strengths instead of you trying to get them to play your game, because it's easier for you to adapt your team to a new
That's not necessarily true. I remember when EG used EE, they just picked him Rana every game. He like never played the hero. But that was...
There's a Spectre ban for you, and Darkseer.
They did the opposite. They just wanted to use Moonlight Shadow.
Does he also have horns in his looking right? He's kind of, right? He's got a shell on the back.
He's looking right, and he's got stuff on his back.
That would have been a Klink's ban if they hadn't sniped the Radiant.
I really don't see a better alternative to Clock here.
I think Clock's really good too.
They could do Tide too. Tide's like decent. They did run it last game.
Question is if they really want to do that aggressive tri-lane and then pick up another semi-late game hero, because they are a bit weak in the late game department.
The late game is not your concern.
Boom.
There we go. To aggressive tri-lane the Clock? No.
That's a good call.
I actually think this is a really potent lane. Shadow Demon Clockwork together with
It's definitely potent, but it's not worthwhile, especially not when they have an Enchantress and a Nature's Prophet that can revert into the jungle as well. I think they will lose that farm war if they commit everything into an aggressive tri-lane. I think they need to roam.
So we saw this Clockwork pick coming a few picks ago. Do you think Puppy just didn't care about it? I would find it very hard pressed to believe that he didn't see it coming.
Yeah, I think he's just like...
I don't care.
To the point of overconfidence in their ability. Just
probably true.
He's very, very...
cocky.
Well, trolling. For good reason, right?
Yeah,
so
for good reason. I mean, it's not a bad thing.
He's very mindful about the fact that they are on another level.
And Faceless Void will be our 5th lock-in for the Dire side Team Secret.
Secret draft compared to game 1.
Very strange indeed.
I don't know, I feel it's very standard.
Okay. We will get the views of the analysts at the end of our second game. It's time to go back to our commentators for game 2 of Team Secret versus Na'Vi US.
That's right, we're back. I'm Capitalist, joined by Bucking Mad, known as Sebastian here. Now, Sebastian, we saw that this matchup, this draft here from Team Secret, a little bit of push now with that last pick, Faceless Void, gives them some late game possibilities, but Na'Vi US, all this big mid-game team fight. I feel like Na'Vi US have a much better shot this time around than they did in game 1.
Definitely, they can put up some really good aggression on Team Secret. Although the Puppy Enchantress, man, you don't want to be dealing with that in early game. I'm looking forward to see how he plays that hero. He's one of the best Enchantress player in the world, that's for sure, hands down. So, sure, you have a really good roaming combo with Potom, SD Potom. You can kill anywhere on the map, especially on the mid lane. The Death Prophet, they can shut down S4 big time. But yet again, you have Big Daddy with the Fisher, and he's always where he needs to be. And you have the Puppy Enchantress that can just control lanes by sending creeps or do whatever. It's gonna be a tough one. I mean, they can really put pressure on Team Secret, but I don't think it's gonna be that. They're not gonna get that much momentum, in my opinion, if Puppy and Big Daddy play that right.
Na'Vi US, they're running a 5-man here into the enemy jungle and are going to be starting off with an early ward, which hopefully was not spotted out there from S4. Of course, we also have an early ward being placed by Team Secret as well, and they're going to be seeing the rotation now. What did you think about the idea of the aggro try from Na'Vi US? Do you agree with the fact that it looks like we're going to be seeing just a dual roaming combo and not forcing constant pressure in the top lane?
That's a dual roam. 100%. They have 3 really strong solos. Clockwork, Razor, Panda. Those 3 heroes can actually match up fairly evenly versus any hero. So you can let the Panda versus the Void, you can let the Clockwork versus the Void, you can let the Razor versus the Void. Same goes for the Death Prophet and the Nature's Prophet. So it's just gonna come down to Fogged and the way too sexy decision making in the early game. It's a battle of support. This is a 2 versus 2. We're gonna have the 3 cores farming and trying to get the best out of their lanes. And it's basically No Tail and Puppy, Big Daddy and Puppy, sorry, versus Fogged and way too sexy for the first 10 minutes.
All right, well, we're already going to see a bit of early action here. That may have been a mistake, though. That could cost them. Hopefully snaking. They may not notice that the smoke... Yeah, S4, I'm sure he spotted that one out. There's the ping, and he goes, hey, that guy was smoked. That means our 2 supports are going to be wrapping around very early on, looking for some early kills. And look at his positioning. He's just like, whatever, I can just afford to lead this first wave. If I need to, I'll just throw out a couple of crit swarms to just make sure I don't get caught out by the first blood attempt. Now, this early counter ward from the side of Team Secret did catch out the ward that Na'Vi US placed, which means there's a lot more openings for the side of Team Secret and being able to rotate the Enchantress around and catch some heroes by surprise.
Yep, so Puppy's going farming mode. He's double stacking the jungle. He's not going to be looking to. He's not roaming. He's actually double stacking. He got one stack off in golems, which is quite unfortunate when you have a Wraken to farm it. But anyway, and Big Daddy is going to be positioned on the mid lane. They need to know where the supports are, and now they are under a ward, so they know what's going on. Team Secret is fine.
Yeah, and even an early rotation there from Big Daddy did put our Razor a bit low. And of course, with this build, when he goes for the Wraithband first, it does leave him exposed to early harassment. Now, he's not expecting it solely because of the dual roaming should be able to free up a lot of room, but he's already eaten through one of his shared tangos and is only left with one right now. May need to be able to fly himself some extra regen in.
And you can see that Big Daddy is just staying on the mid lane. Basically, he will just follow the SD bottom everywhere. Everywhere they go, he's just going to be there and throw the Fissure to counter initiate and make sure they don't get kills. And Puppey's going to go farm mode, which is completely fine.
And what about our offlane here for the side of Team Secret? It's a Nature's Prophet going up against Korok. The melee Panda should be a pretty easy lane for him. Disruption goes down. Fog trying to go for the block. Nicely played, but isn't quite enough to actually block off Simba, and he will be able to just walk himself away. Still, though, that's going to be a pretty successful offlane, I would say, all around for Team Secret. He may get picked off by one of those rotations, but I think you're completely right, Sebastian. The rotations around, it's all about whether or not Navi US can find the openings, and right now, it doesn't look like they're going to find anything. Big Daddy's completely countered them, and as you said, Puppey will then utilize the jungle to get a big golden experience advantage going into the 15-minute mark.
They have one thing that's going pretty well. It's their cores that are actually winning their lanes, which is understandable. It should happen. I mean, Clockwork is great versus any melee hero, so Boba's getting the most out of his lane, which is a good news for Navi US. So is Razor. And so, I mean, Razor, the matchup is even, but Snaking has, decent denies, etc. It's going okay for him. And same goes for the Panda bottom. So far, so good for Navi US. It's just the two supports getting really nothing so far. They need to create space or at least find some levels.
Now, what do you think about the fact that they're currently splitting themselves up, no longer going for the dual roaming? You think this is the best choice?
I think it's a really good choice. I mean, they understand that they cannot get ganks off because obviously Team Secret has the better warding because they unwarded one ward from Navi US. So they have rune control, so they see the bottom SD roaming around. So, getting kills is not going to happen. So SD goes bottom, try to give even more advantage to the Panda, and Mirana goes top and mid to try to pressure both lanes. So both Void and Death Prophet cannot go over-aggressive, else they just eat an arrow and feed a kill that they don't want to do. So really good decision-making from Navi US.
And there's even the possibility of we could still see a kill in the bottom lane with the disruption setting up Korok to close the gap and be able to hit that Panda clap, followed up by one of those guaranteed crits. I mean, that's a lot of burst damage by itself. It's a possibility that they might just be able to burst the Furion before he either runs himself away or teleports out. But that's, as far as I see it, the only opportunity for Navi US now that they split themselves up. But on the side of Team Secret, there's always the possibility that an Enchantress gank can come in, but also you could see this, they're willing to play this very aggressive up against Snake King. Big Daddy was looking for a Fissure block so they could start utilizing that double damage on the Death Prophet. Even if they don't get a kill, just putting pressure on the Razor from a long distance away. It seems like this is exactly what Team Secret did in game number 1 as well.
I really like the Shaker roaming versus Razor because you get a mid laner that can harass the Razor with the waves from DP or the Magnus, even the co-op with the poison, and you have that Shaker Fissure pressure. So the Razor can never play his lane fully, can never go over aggressive, which is why he stomps people, because he just goes uphill, link his enemy until behind the tower even sometimes, and he cannot do that. That's why the matchups are even on the mid lane. You can see that S4 is farming evenly with the Razor, and not that it shouldn't happen, but it's just that Razor doesn't crush people like he usually does. Look at the pressure on Snaking. He knows he can't play his lane. So I like a lot this Shaker roaming versus Razor. It's a really good counter.
Yeah, and it seems to be hurting his CS by normally we would see Razor taking a very, very early advantage over the Death Prophet until about level 5 where that crit swarm becomes really harassive. But right now, he's only very slightly ahead of the Death Prophet. In fact, Death Prophet is even keeping up and denies, which is usually supposed to be the Razor's territory where he holds biggest advantage because he just saps away their damage and is able to use his large amount of damage to go for kills. Bulba, they're going to try and go on him. Chronosphere is laid down. And right now you can see Big Daddy just holding on to the Fissure. Is going to lay it down. The clap also possible, but doesn't seem to be able to get close enough. And Bulba will just barely get out. Big Daddy unable to throw down another Fissure just yet. and that means Bulba will get away from that first attempt at a gank from Team Secret.
Good TP from SD. He was dead. Else, good execution from Team Secret. They don't have much damage output early on. If they had the Prophet TPing in and right clicking, I think Clockwork would be dead. So maybe a bit of communication or maybe bad decision making from Simba, because that would have been an easy first blood into a push, probably top. Anyway, it's okay. The chrono is down, but I don't think Navi US can get something out of it.
Right. Completely agree with you, man. Arrow sneaks by once again, as every once in a while the Priestess of the Moon just comes in, tries to throw an arrow at S4, and if you do land it, it could be that guaranteed kill. I do want to talk about, I mean, look at this, early smoke rotation from the side of Navi US. You could also see the build that Clockwork's going for. I really like it. I think you need to have that extra damage of the battery assault. It gives you so much extra kill power on a Clockwork as soon as you hit that level 6, but the rotation just might catch out S4. Disruption goes down, and Bulba will be able to lock him in with the cogs easily. First blood will be going to the side of Navi US, but possibly, oh my goodness, just barely able to get the kill before, and now they're going to get a double in return. Team Secret returning fire there thanks to the rotations of both Big Daddy as well as Simba. Very nicely played by Team Secret. They may have given up that first blood to the Clockwork, but at least they get a very nice trade in return.
The passive damage from the Tempest, the Tornado, from the Tempest from the Tornado and the Wilkin was really key also in that move. I like the rotation because they went on the Clockwork, so he went back to base. So obviously he's missing because he's just, going to the fountain to get some HP up. So the smoke move was actually really not obvious, and you could see that Puppy and Big Daddy weren't prepared. They were like, well, Clockwork is missing, we just try to kill him, we failed. Obviously he is missing, right? So really good timing for the gank. It's still worth it. They got 2 kills, that's obviously really bad, but it's still worth it to get the first blood on Bulba and on the Death Prophet.
Yeah, especially since Blade Mail is so important for a Clockwork going up against a Death Prophet. Jump in, Arrow is going to come in, lands on S4, and Fog will take that opportunity to grab the Bounty Rune. Plays a little bit too aggressive though. It's going to be body blocked up by Big Daddy. And easily, one last right click. No, they're not going to go for it now. Snake King is going in for Big Daddy. Can he get it right click? Will be able to take him out, and Navi US will be able to not only save their ally, just barely. I mean, Fog just needed one last right click from either one of those ranged heroes, but instead Team Secret decide against it, play a little bit more safe, and the return is they only lose the Earthshaker there. Still though, great wraparound there from Navi US, willing to group up very early to ensure that they get these successful kills.
Yeah, over-aggressive play from Big Daddy, although the body block was actually wonderful. I like the decision from Kuroki not to go for the Midas. He's going to go for an early Mask of Madness, I would guess, which is good. They need damage. They really lack severely damage output. And look at S4's build on the mid lane. He's maxed in Witchcraft, which is a really good decision. He knows they want to gank him all the time. So he's maxing the movement speed. You can see that he has already 400 movement speed, and that's without phase boots. With the phase boots, he's going to be nearly ungankable. So great decision making from him. He doesn't need the ultimate. They're not going to be forcing the issue early on. So I really like the decision making from the player. Also, the key factor now is the Blink Dagger on Korok. Whenever that's up, we're going to be looking at Navi US forcing issues, forcing towers, forcing fights. So look out for the Blink Dagger on the blue.
Another Chronosphere with the Earthshaker Fisher block, and Bulba, no way he's getting out of that one. Snake King and Fog will come up to the top lane, but it's a bit too late to save their ally, and seeing that rotation, right? They killed a hero, plus there's 2 heroes rotating in the top lane. They know this middle lane completely exposed for S4 to use a very early exorcism to maybe not take down the tower, but at least damage it severely.
I really like this decision from S4 to instantly, maybe he even saved a point in abilities to pick the ultimate and push it. Great decision. Again, in Dota, when you TP for nothing, it hurts you a lot. Like the TP from Snake King top was late and not necessary.
The arrow is going to be able to land S4, and they denied the haste rune at the very least, but nothing else is going to come out of this because Bulba, uncharacteristically, he missed a hook shot, and that just doesn't happen with Bulba, man. He's one of the best Clockworks out there.
Yeah, probably miscommunication on disruption timing or anyway, it would have been a hard fight to take in my opinion. And you can see the stacks for S4. I mean, Puppy gets so much out of the jungle. He goes, I mean, we saw FNG playing Enchantress today, and it was the non-greedy Enchantress. Puppy is the other Enchantress. He applies pressure, but he never forgets to get farm. He has 40 CS, so he's been farming a lot, and look, he's been giving so much farm to S4 as well. So I really like this from him. He's getting level 6, he has an urn to his name. So that's a good Enchantress game.
Oh, bottom looks like they were able to pick up the Nature's Prophet there.
Yeah, the Blink Dagger from the Panda doing work. I mean, probably surprising for for Simba. That's why he gave a kill.
Yeah, oftentimes you see that out of the one position Brewmaster. Try and sneak in. Once you have the Blink Dagger available, wait until you have an opportunity to get a kill with it and surprise that offlaner. And it looks like it was successful in combination with the way too sexy arrow. Now the problem is, these Treants are still going to be quite the nuisance when it comes to pushing down this tower. They can get some good right clicks in, but the Treants will still be able to pull some of that creep wave away. And the result is, this tower may not fall if Team Secret want to make a rotation, but it looks like they're taking advantage of all the stacks that Puppey has been doing, as you were talking about before. S4 clears through some of those, and now maybe a smoke rotation.
They will defend the tower bottom, most likely, or trade with mid. Maybe let S4 try to trade and get them the mid tower in the meantime, but most likely they will defend the tower bottom. The Chrono's off cooldown, Kuroki has the TP, has the Mask of Madness. It's going to be a really risky push for Navi US if they decide to do so.
Oh, look at this smoke gank, though. This one may be dangerous. They're going to jump in. Exorcism already going out. Snake King's going to be taking a lot here. Korok jumps in with the Blink Dagger, going for S4, but they will be able to clean up the Razor. In return, though, the Death Prophet goes down. Big Daddy may be in some trouble, but Korok trying to get himself away from Puppey. And the early level of Impetus, which is able to force him back. And a 1-for-1 exchange, really not that bad for Navi US. A smoke gank and a 3-man rotation, and they still kill the Death Prophet in return, who is one of the scarier heroes in net worth right now.
So Kuroki is pushing top tower, instant TP from Simba on the mid tower to try to get it. They want to try to abuse map positioning again. They seem to think they have better map positioning and better game understanding overall. So it's just about how they position and how they force issues to just force Navi US to waste time to run around and not farm effectively.
Well, the Blade Mail is up for the Clockwork, and as we were talking about before during that first blood, it's so important for the Clockwork to be able to get that early Blade Mail going up against a Death Prophet. You know, sometimes that jump in, the hook shot, and the cogs, it can actually hurt you more than help you in certain scenarios, and Death Prophet is one of those heroes that really can punish you, but when you've got a Blade Mail, it doesn't really matter. You're sacrificing your life for taking away that big ultimate. Every bit of damage you're taking, you're getting a good amount right back to that Death Prophet.
He even has a Shadow Demon to actually help him out and disrupt him before he dies. So definitely Clockwork was a great pick here. The panel did said that Puppey actually tried to let him through, etc. I don't think that a Darkseer would have been way more problematic for Team Secret just because of the laning, because both Enchantress and Earthshaker can't do anything to force back a Darkseer. So that's probably why they banned the Darkseer over the Clockwork. But sometimes you just gotta give good heroes. It's just how the draft works. So definitely Clockwork will do a lot of work in that game, especially with that early Blade Mail, as you said.
Push into the bottom lane. Looks like they want to claim this tier 1 tower. Korok, knowing that his ultimate is up, he can take any team fight that happens, so it's unlikely that Team Secret will be going for any sort of defense, and unlikely to be able to push tier 2 simply because the buff to tier 2 is giving him that extra 5 armor does really limit early pushes, so it's not even like they can force Team Secret to come back and defend. That tower's just going to be tanky enough to survive long enough that Team Secret, they could probably just, in return, go for tier 1s in the middle lane or in the top, easily be able to make an exchange.
Yeah, right now Team Secret is just happy to farm. They are awaiting more items on the Void, on the Death Prophet, and the thing is that Korok is really fat. Like, he has Dagger and Vlad's early on. That's really good farm, so he can really break Team Secret's defense right now. I really feel like with his Brewmaster he can do a lot of work. Probably try to force this mid tower. Top, they're going on Snaking. He might be dead.
Oh no, yeah, the Exorcism comes in. Snaking being held in like that makes it so easy for the Ghost to rip through a hero. Yep. And the tower is going to be left with one hit. Nice deny there from Fog. And is going to be looking for Kuro as well. He does have a leap and doesn't look like they're going to be able to find him just yet.
He doesn't have mana for Blink into TP. That's the only issue. But they're actually going away to Sexy. That's not going to be a kill. Yeah. Nice play from Kuroki, understanding he has to go back.
Oh, nice! Bulba jumps in on 2, able to lock them both down, hits Big Daddy. Fortunately, the Epicenter was still able to go off, but they're going to be able to get both of these kills in return and losing really nobody for the price of it. Very nicely played by Bulba, making up for that missed hook shot. Hey, you didn't get anything with that one, but now a 2-for-1 special for Navi US.
This is why that player is insanely good at playing Clockwork. I mean, that hook was it was an awesome skill shot from Bulba. Double kill on the supports, easy one. They don't even have to use the Primal Split to get that. So that's another one fight if they want to go for it. It's looking quite good for Navi US right now. They're not out of the game at all. They're actually leading it. and they have to be really aggressive on Team Secret. They have to put pressure somehow.
Right, make sure that Fly isn't able to exchange any of these towers. You could see he was already heavily pushing in this bottom lane. When he saw that mid-game engagement there, he just immediately went for the bottom push, tried to lay down as much damage on the tower as possible. And I like this build quite a lot from Kuro. Now he's like maxed out damage, right? Between the Mask of Madness and Maelstrom, that's an incredible amount of early damage on a Faceless Void. Allows him to pretty much solo kill whatever he goes up against. Maybe not the Brewmaster or the Clockwork, but everyone else who gets caught in the Chronosphere, he could probably solo them.
Yeah, and that's probably a kill. Like, he's gonna Chrono this, get the kill on Fog, and go. He doesn't have mana to go back, so that's troublesome. He might die for this.
Yeah,
nice Fisher.
Here comes Korok, pops the ultimate, is going to be able to lock him down with your Panda right away. Oh, nicely played with the Tornado. Kind of intercept the hook shot, but it doesn't matter. They get a double kill.
Perfect micro. Perfect micro from the Panda. Instant Cyclone on the Shaker TPing out. Instant stun on the Void. Easy double kills. They're going to try to push the tower bottom. I'm not sure they have what it takes to push it, because the Shaker is back in 15 seconds. They have the glyph available, so that's not going to be a tower push for sure. They're going to try to like damage it, but that's going to be it.
Oh, Korok is going to be caught here. You know, he's a big tanky hero. Will be able to tank a lot, but the Exorcism just eats right through him anyway. And Snake King will be forced back, as the rest of the team really wasn't backing up that push at all.
That might be a Roshan now. That might be a Roshan. They have the Exorcism up, they have the trees up.
Is it going to last long enough?
Yeah, I think they have the damage to take down Roche. They don't have the Primus Split, they can still fight there. And on the mid lane, Kurok is putting pressure on the bottom. Okay, he's going back. It's obviously insanely hard to fight in this area versus Plasma Field, versus Panda Clap and Rockets, so they might board it. Yeah, I think that's a good decision.
Yeah, with only half the Exorcism time left when they entered into the pit, the level 2 Exorcism did do a lot of damage to Roshan, but just slight stall tax.
He died to a solo SD. That's a really big misplay.
Oh, that is so bad. As the Shadow Demon with that maxed out Shadow Poison, like that's the thing about Shadow Demon, you can't really tell sometimes what exactly he's maxed out, but you always have to be careful. Those Shadow Poison ticks can do an amazing amount of work.
A Shadow Demon, if he lands all his spell on the opponent carry, he can solo kill him just because of how the hero skates.
Oh, can they seal this? The double damage is going to be grabbed by S4 before Snake King could get there and deny it, and will be backing himself up. Still though, this middle tower left with just 66 HP. Jump in, hook shot, nicely played. Bulba wants to make sure there's no chance of a deny here, and with the Blade Mail, he'll easily be able to ensure the kill. Mirror now runs down to the south, making sure the Puppy can't catch up. S4 though is running around like a freight train, will be able to take down at least one. Yule Scepter onto the Razor, Kuro coming in as well. He's got an ultimate, but doesn't even need to use it necessarily, as Team Secret just 4-man into the middle lane and wipe out the 2.
Pretty good kills for Team Secret. They needed that. Also great play from Boba. He had to go for it. I don't think the Razor had to commit. Boba just did the job. A bit of mispositioning, in my opinion, from Snake King. He didn't need to go in. So anyway, great plays from Boba this game. It's really impressive how he uses the Clockwork to the best effect.
And on top of all that, looks like they may be able to get this tier 1 tower in the middle lane as well. Kuro coming forward, wants to commit. He's still got the Chronosphere, so the chances of someone coming in and attempt to deny are so slim, just because the Chronosphere would ensure an additional kill. So really that team fight where they jumped in, like that was good initiation from Bulba, I would say, like making sure they claim that tower and everything else. But it seems like Navi US, they've lost a couple of fights and have lost some of the hold on their game due to the fact that they're not grouping up nearly as much as Team Secret is. Do you think that they're actually getting anything good out of this by splitting themselves up and, you know, farming some of the side lanes and not grouping up as much? Sure, they may be losing team fights, but is it worth it for some of the farm they're getting in exchange?
I think they are okay. To be honest, their support are doing quite well. I mean, the SD after the solo kill on the Void is looking good. The bottom is looking very good. She has portraits, she has Aquila, and almost 1k5, like 1500 gold. I mean, it's gonna turn to be a bottom with decent stuff. I don't want to say a position 1 bottom, but she's looking quite okay. I mean, we could see a bottom with Aquila, Treads, and Yasha 20 minutes into the game, which is completely fair, you know? So I think Navi US transitioned really well into the late early game, or mid game, if you can call it that way. It's looking okay for them, to be honest. I like the way they're playing, and their decision making has been quite good so far. They don't have to 5-man. And on the side of Team Secret, I feel like the Prophet from Simba hasn't put much pressure on the lanes. He's been farming very cautiously in the jungle and didn't really bring much to the game yet.
Yeah, they do have both of their Maelstroms, though, on the Nature's Prophet as well as the Faceless Void, and that is something like, compared to perhaps the early Hand of Midas or something like that, which comes up a bit earlier and can get you that gold advantage. The Maelstrom comes in later, but it's still a really great farming item, and it's going to be able to allow both of these heroes to quickly push out these lanes and maybe kind of force Na'Vi US on the defensive a bit more than they want to. Another thing I want to go into here is the Brewmaster. Now, this one position Brewmaster, if you ever see an opportunity for a Brewmaster to go for what I dub like the Battle Brew build, which is not going for Aghanims, but rather going for bigger team fight items, such as late game items rather, such as Abyssal, such as Assault Cuirass. We've seen this a number of times from Brewmasters. In this game specifically, though, Korok is doing really well in net worth. It's a pretty good opportunity for you to go for the Battle Brew, but he's going for that point booster, which should be signaling he's going for the Aghanims game. Do you think this is good for him? Do you think this is the best choice for him, giving him the best opportunity to win the mid game?
I think so. It brings so much control in the fights, and it's also a way to actually burst down that Death Prophet.
Right.
I really like the Aghanims on Brew. It's so much damage, so whenever he's going to jump on the Death Prophet, S4 has to heal himself up, else it's just going to die, and they lose the Exorcism, and then they probably lose the following fight. So Aghanims plus Vlad on Brew, if you can get that before the 25th, 30-minute mark, is actually a huge damage output. So I really like the decision. He probably needs a BKB after that, definitely, against the Silas from the DP and the Chrono and all the control, the AoE control Team Secret has. But definitely a good decision. He could even go for BKB right now after the point booster.
Well, we're going to see both teams backing up, farming, not really spending too much time trying to force anything, excluding, once again, the duo of Fogged and Bulba are going to be at it. Snaking is farming up the top lane right now and is going to be looking to build an Aghanims. They're halfway there, but the Moonlight Shadow might just send something up here. Fogged is looking for his opening. Secret.
They saw Puppey, they might want to go for him. And Puppey's going for Aghanims or BKB. He bought another club that he doesn't... It's on the chick for the moment. And I want to say, I really like a fourth position bottom when you play with the Clockwork, because Clockwork is a hero that doesn't farm much. He just gets money from the fights. So getting a greedy fourth position here, like a bottom, that can turn into a late gamer, is a really good idea.
Right, really take advantage of the fact that you know the Clockwork is going to drop off eventually.
Exactly, so you have 3 lanes to farm. And they know that first, they know what's going on. So they have to decide if they want to fight there. It's going to be the key fight of the game. This is going to be really interesting.
Everything's on the line right here for Na'Vi US. They're 1 game down, and if they lose this team fight, it could be game 2 as well. Secret getting through Roshan, very low right now, sitting about 1,500 HP. Snaking's going to start making his way in. S4 completely isolated here. And now Na'Vi US needs some time, as it looks like the Snake King has gone down. So now, Na'Vi US, they're left with this very critical position where they could be able to pick off S4. He's isolated from the rest of the team, but we've talked about this, how Team Secret have this long-range initiation thanks to the Earthshaker. It did them so much work in game number 1, and it looks like it may be a determining factor here in this fight for game 2.
The positioning from Snaking is really bad right now. Bulba must be whining. I mean, I don't know about whining, but like the Clockwork needs a free pass to hook, because if he can hook, then they get the Roshan and they kill the Prophet.
Right.
But right now he can't. He's not going to get the stun off. Snaking has to go right or left, wherever he wants to go, and he has a Razor with 400 movement speed, so he can't do that before Roshan goes down. So they killed the Ogre Magi that we just saw, that we just see here on the screen.
Right.
So now the pass is free. They just need Snaking to move a little on the side, so Bulba can hook, kill S4. Nothing's going to save him, because Kuroki is actually way... Like, he's way too far to chrono or do anything. So that Roshan can be contested. They can get the Roshan and take the following fight. This can be really good for Na'Vi US.
It's all about whether or not they get that Aegis, because the rest of the Team Secret team, they only need, a second or 2 to be able to get there and be in position to interrupt some of this.
The Fisher is on cooldown. That's a really big deal.
True.
They cannot stop that Clockwork, neither they can stop the Razor. And Kurok's positioning is perfect. He can jump on the 3 heroes that goes down the hill. So it's going to be a really, really tough fight for Team Secret. I think they're going to get crushed in that fight. Na'Vi US have all the cards they need that they can play to actually crush that fight and get the Roshan. They must feel very, very confident going into that Rush Pit fight.
Yeah, the Yule Scepter is up for S4 though. And
Yeah.
that's another opportunity. He can throw Snake King up in the air if Roshan dies and Bulba is unable to get that hook shot in time. He may be able to grab the Aegis, in which case, even if you do pop S4, it's going to cost you a lot of resources to do so, and he's going to come right back. And we're so early on to the game, the crit storm is still a lot there. But yeah, you're right. I see
stun.
that. You're clicking on that. S4 stun right now.
S4 stun.
He just got bashed.
Yeah, and the interaction between the Yule Scepter and the Clockwork Hook on allies is actually working. So if he Yule Scepter Snaking, that means Snaking cannot move, and then Bulba cannot get the hook out.
Right.
The hook off, sorry. So basically, right now, it's all about he has to like try to Yule Scepter the Razor if he can. But I'm not sure about the stun. We can't see the stun duration. So if it's if he just got stunned, or if
I think he just got stunned. I
Then-
mean, Korok has just thrown out.
They
Here
are
it
in big
comes.
trouble.
The fight goes out, and Aegis is going to be grabbed by S4 just barely in time, and he gets off the self-Yule Scepter, able to kill Snake King, jump in there on the left side, going for Big Daddy, but that's still a very big Echo Slam, even if it didn't eat through many heroes. The Brewmaster ultimate still very much alive here, but oh no, the disruption goes down right as the arrow was going to be able to snag Kuro. Fogged is now going to be picked off, taken down. 3 heroes lost on the side of Navi US, and Team Secret were able to get that Aegis, and as well as the Roshan kill.
Oh, yeah.
So big team fight for them.
What a
and
shame.
Navi US very far behind now.
that pause was very, very unlucky, unfortunately, for Navi US, because they could not get the hook off. Like, the Bulba just couldn't hook. He decided to actually Blade Mail and Cog, so that wasn't enough. So great decision-making from Team Secret. They get out with Roshan, and with 3 kills to their name.
Yeah, and look at that. They're already spreading across the map,
Oh, yeah.
making sure they
Instantly.
utilize the map to the greatest advantage, pulling out even more economy out of this, and maybe be able to grab not only a kill in the
That's
middle
cool.
lane, there it goes, Way Too Sexy is down, and probably that bottom tier 1 tower, nobody's making a change over to that one. Fog glimpses Big Daddy for a second there, but unable to get the disruption off in time, so free kill, free tower.
The positioning from Snaking was so unfortunate, man. He must be really annoyed with his plays, in my opinion, because if he lets Bulba hook, then the game is completely different. So now, anyway, it happened. When you're a team and you're playing from behind, you have to forget what happened and focus on what's next. Right. And what's next right now is that DP has the Aegis of the Immortal. She's going for a Bloodstone, which is a really greedy item, but whatever. She has 2 lives, so it's completely okay. Prophet's farm is going to skyrocket. He has a Mjolnir now, and Void is getting bigger and bigger. He now has a BKB, so nothing can now stop him.
Oh no! Fogged, he was just coming into this bottom lane right
Double
as
kill.
Kuro makes the jump, and if he gets the bash already, the disruption has gone down, the teleport in from the Furion, but they stop as the Moonlight Shadow, they know it will be able to protect the Shadow Demon.
Yeah.
So instead, they keep themselves back. Kuro gets that one important pick off on the Clockwork though, finishes up his BKB, which means he no longer has to worry about Blade Mail. And will also be able to have potentially static charge. Fog, well, he gets completely trapped here, and that will be an additional kill for Team Secret, who 23 minutes in right now, 10-15. They have taken a huge gold lead after that last team fight, about a 7,500 lead, and over 10,000 experience in their favor. Plus, they still have the Aegis, plus they're getting map control, and I would say, Sebastian, probably better late game as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's looking really grim for Navi US right now. You know, when you do such a fight that you could actually win, it's very frustrating, and you need to try your best to get the momentum back, you know, to focus again on the game and like try to adapt your game plan, right? Because you had a really clear one. They were putting pressure on Team Secret. They were, you know, attacking them, etc. And now they can't anymore. So the game plan has changed and they need to adapt.
Bulba, maybe it's a good thing he couldn't find that opening on Furion, because there was that big rotation from Team Secret, which very easily could have punished that one, but now both teams will back themselves up, and more pushing in the bottom lane, where Kuro continues to, bit by bit, may not be able to do it fast as Death Prophet or the Furion, but it's still chip damage that is permanent, and bit by bit he will be able to collapse these towers.
You can see how Secret constantly outpushes the lane. They just outpush the lane to force their enemy to actually defend. They force their enemy to waste time defending towers. So they can position themselves and get pick-offs with a clutch Fisher, with a clutch Chronosphere. So they use, like, so far I think they are the team that use the map the best. Like, honestly, it's impressive how they constantly pressure the opponent with actually defensive heroes. They do that with Shakers and Voids and
Korok.
Medusas.
There goes the Fisher plus the silence. Korok's in some serious trouble, will be taken down.
Echo Slam still available.
Yeah,
Great.
they easily had enough stuns, didn't even
Easy one.
require it.
Yeah.
And on top of that, we also had at the same time Kuro, who was able to pick off the Razor. So there goes both the most farmed heroes on the side of Na'Vi US being taken down. That's probably going to be a tower on each side of the lane. Kuro will push in this bottom lane, while the rest of the team from Secret will push in this top tier 2.
So in a matter of 3 minutes or 4 minutes, they actually got 10k gold advantage and more than 15k XP advantage. This is how good their decisions were after that rush fight. This is how good they are at using the advantage they have and snowballing.
Way too sexy, quick to teleport away. Furion trying to teleport in, but decides against it as he may want to join this top lane where the push continues. S4 using his exorcism. They didn't need it for the tier 2, so why not continue, as you say, force Na'Vi US to come back and defend. They do a bit of damage here while the rest of the heroes are down, and as the Brewmaster comes back up, they'll probably back themselves away unless they feel confident enough with this Aegis.
Now they can. They don't have a chrono, and the Primus Speed is back, and now they actually got a really good arrow on S4. This can be really troublesome.
Yeah, that's
because they
big.
will jump on S4. They need to force back. Okay.
Oh no, the Ult Scepter is going to be able to delay. Korok being able to get off that ultimate just now going down. S4 is going to be held in by not only the stun, but Bulba as well, who comes in. Simba bounce back. Koro comes in, doesn't quite have the Chronosphere just yet. Good defensively. Disruption there from Bach, but he will still be taken down. A couple of buybacks there in Team Secret. Now on their retreat. Want to make sure that no other heroes get picked off, and Big Daddy is able to blink himself away just in time. And unfortunately, Na'Vi US all out of option when it comes to chasing the rest of these heroes. They just have no long-range initiation left.
Great Echo Slam from Big Daddy. It completely turned the fight. Really, really awesome play from him. Like, the decision from Na'Vi US to actually go for Death Prophet was completely right. They just all stacked on the creep wave, going uphill, and they just got destroyed by the ultimate.
We'll now reveal that Chronosphere, and even with the static link draining away his damage, it doesn't matter. This guy hits way too hard and up against way too sexy, whose minimal HP pool just really cannot last up against Maelstroms and Mjolnirs. It's just too much damage when it's the procs.
Razor is having such a bad game. I mean, he's really behind. He had to buy back for that fight. Same goes for Bulba. So the Razor is really out of the game, to be honest. He has no damage, he has no tankiness, he has nothing right now. He's working towards an axe, but he's really far from the Aghanim's. He needs like 1k, actually 2k gold still, which is huge. Like, we're getting to the 30-minute mark. He's severely underfarmed.
And speaking of like farm and just you have an Aghanim's finally being purchased by the Brewmaster. Look at Simba, who just straight up casually buys a BKB.
I like this.
It's a whole, which means he's now like, he can actually teleport into the middle of a team fight, and he has very little to worry about because the physical damage just isn't going to come fast enough. Furion will just be able to right-click any one hero.
Yeah, it's really good decisions, and the two Mjolnirs are going to do a lot of work because they understand that Na'Vi US have no BKB heroes, so the Mjolnir is actually a great item to get, and now they can catch the Void, but I don't think they have the damage to kill him.
Well,
They
we'll see.
really like damage.
The Purge goes down, and they're going to be able to follow up with the hook shot. He still got off the BKB, though. Now he's going to turn this fight so damn low, but Bulba in some serious trouble. He's going to be taken down. Kuro running right through heroes. Korok's going to fall as well, and GG is the call from the US team. They are done being punished like this. Team Secret will quickly claim game number 2 after a disastrous Roshan fight and a general